What do you do when it feels like you're losing all of your friendships, or when it feels like you're losing your entire business, or when you feel like you're just losing your entire life? Like, what do you do when it feels like literally everything is against you and you're sitting here going, what am I doing wrong? That's what we're going to talk about today, because when we can realize the opportunity that is in front of us, that is when the change gets to happen. So today I want to share with you guys a quick story. You guys know my story. You know about our marriage story, and you know that in 2015 in Colorado here, I went through my rock bottom in my marriage and found out about my husband's pornography addiction and about a whole bunch of stuff that had been happening outside of our marriage that I didn't know about. And I hit my rock bottom. And what made that rock bottom so hard is not only the fact that I was juggling a toddler and a 5-month-old at the time. It was not only that we were brand new to Colorado. We had just left the state that I had had both my babies in and moved to Colorado, and I didn't have any of my friends around anymore. But it was one of those defining moments in my life that stripped away everything. So not only did I lose this vision of my marriage and the life that I thought we would have and the marriage story I thought we would have, but it stripped away pretty much all of my friendships. I lost that year everything in my life, is what it felt like. And it felt like it was blow after blow after blow. It felt like literally I not only lost my marriage, but I lost all my friends. I lost all my joy. I lost the life that I had had. I lost the purpose that I had had. I lost, and it felt like thing after thing was loss for me. And that is a hard moment to be in, right? When you feel like you're literally losing everything. And I remember feeling like, this is so not fair. Like, I've already lost my marriage and I've already lost all of that. Now I have to lose all my friends too. And I want to invite you, if you're in that place or if you've been in that place, to hear me come from a place of love and say, I get it. Me too. I've been there. But what I have learned since then is that every time we have a loss, every time we lose something, every time something is taken away from us, that is our opportunity. That is our invitation to something better. And yes, I know we've all heard the pruning analogy and that bushes get pruned and then they come back better than ever. I remember people telling that to me when I was like in my depression and my rock bottom, and I just really wanted to punch them in the face because that's where I was at. And I was really angry about it. And the pruning process, when it's not your choice, feels so unfair. But you guys, the biggest lesson in the last 5 years that I have come to learn from is that open hands, letting go, allowing there to be loss always makes room for something better if we allow that. We can let go and have open hands and be really bitter. We can be really frustrated. We can say this isn't fair. When you fight for those limitations, when you fight for those rights, when you fight to be right on your hill of this isn't fair, that's what you get to keep. But when you can let go and say, okay, I'm going to trust that something better is coming along, something better is coming to fill that place, that's what you get to keep. That's what you get to look for. That is the narrative that you get to write. And so what I realize now is that when we go through periods of loss, it is our invitation to raise our standards. That's right. It is your invitation to look at the kinds of friends that you have had and say, where do I need to raise my standards? Or if you lose a marriage or a relationship, it's your invitation to look and say, where do I need to raise my standards? If you lose a job or a business or something, it's your invitation to say, where do I need to raise my standards? Because clearly this thing did not deliver the results that I wanted, or I would not be sitting here with nothing. For me, when I went through that story and lost all of my friends, most of my friends just couldn't handle me. They couldn't be around me. I was so angry. I was so upset. I was so drowning in my own emotions, and they just didn't know how to be around me. Or they wanted to be around me and give advice all the time. And I didn't want that either, right? So because I was hard, they didn't know how to be with me. And so I got to look, when I came out of the fog and I came out of the hurt, at my standard for the friends I had in my life and say, I better flip and raise my standards, because that's kind of shitty friends, right? Like, I had to get real honest about where I had not been raising my standards, where I had been lacking in asking what I deserved and what I really wanted from my friendships, from my life, from my marriage, from all of it. But here's the thing. When you raise your standards, you have to start with yourself. You cannot raise your standards for everything in your life without first rising to those standards yourself. So this is what I'm going to encourage you guys to do today. This is your homework for when you're done with this. Write a list of the characteristics that you want in your friends, or write a list of the characteristics you want in your marriage or in your spouse or in your business, and make a real clear list. And you can start praying for those things. Yes, awesome. That's great. Or put it out there in the universe, right? But ultimately, you're going to look at that list and say, am I these things? How well am I doing at these things? You're going to use your list to hold yourself to a standard of who you need to be. So now, when I look at my life and I want to raise my standards, awesome, I can make my list of what I want my standard to be, and then I flip it and say, okay, who does that version of Joy, who does she need to be? Who is she in order to have those things? Where do I need to rise up? Because our surroundings, the things around us, the people in our life are a reflection of our own selves and how we believe about ourselves. Whatever you see around you is always a reflection of your own beliefs. It's a reflection of your own standards. So many people want to raise their standards for everybody else in their life, right? They're like, oh yeah, people need to treat me better. Well, people aren't treating you better because you haven't changed. You haven't leveled up. You haven't become the person that is treated better, right? You have to be that person first. So here's a takeaway that I want you to have when you go to make this list. And I said this, or I will be saying this in our upcoming episode on Monday too, which is follow your frustration. What are you frustrated by in your life? What are you frustrated by in your relationships? What are you frustrated by in your business? Don't shove that away and don't try to avoid it. Instead, I want you to follow that to ask what new standards you need to have. Because where we're frustrated by something is because we haven't actually asked for what we really need or we really want. We haven't raised our standards to match what we intrinsically know is true about ourselves and what we want and what we deserve. And then we're frustrated at other people, but in reality, we haven't done the work to ask for what we really want. So follow your frustration in your life to pinpoint the areas you need to raise your standards. And then once you write down what you want your standards to be for these things in your life, write a whole other sheet of paper of who that version of you is that has those things. And then every day you try to be that version. Every day you read that over and you're like, this is who I'm going to be today. This is who I'm going to be today. How would she eat? How would she show up in her business? Would she turn off her alarm or hit snooze? Right? Every day you're living into that person while raising your standards for the things and the people in your life. But you can't raise them for other people without raising them first for yourself. All right, that's my quick thought for you guys today. Go have a beautiful Friday. I love all of you guys. Thank you so much for listening in. And this is your official invitation to join me in Instagram Mastery or to reach out to me for one-on-one coaching. I know coaching is the biggest thing that changed my life. It changed me. It changed my business. My husband and I just hired a marriage coach because we know how much coaching does to accelerate your growth. And when you grow, the faster you grow, the more money you can make and the faster you can raise those standards, right? But the longer you stay the same, the more expensive mistakes you will make. You will not only pay for more mistakes, but you will also miss out on the money you could be making if you were growing. So come grow with me. Shoot me an Instagram message at joyharrington.ig. I would love to connect with you. We'll hop on a call and see if it's a good fit. Okay, go have a beautiful Friday, you guys.